Okay, so I'm hoping my microphone works today. Yesterday I traded. For those of you who were able to tune in on the Twitch stream, they know it was my biggest loss yesterday. Again, it could have been well, I nobody heard me, right? Cuz the microphone was up. It could have been my biggest green day in a long time, about a $500 winner. Uh, the problem I had was that I was trying a new strategy and trying to add into my positions instead of selling where I normally would. So that was the big problem I had. I'll get into that right now, but I'm looking at Facebook once more. You already know this one. Um, looking into Facebook once more because there's a rising wedge on Facebook at the moment, and I'm not sure if I want to take this long or if it's a symmetrical triangle here. I can't tell which one it is. Uh, uh I really don't know which one it is, and I'm having a hard time figuring it out because I want to get in for this gap fill. I don't want to miss this gap fill because that's going to be a huge move, but I don't know where I want to get in at. I tried to take a trade on it yesterday going long, but thankfully I didn't take it because that would have been a massive flop. So if Facebook breaks its low here on the daily, then we definitely have room to the downside. It might be another hourly setup because the hourly just broke through here. So we could see a curl on the MACD for another for a retest of the high. I don't want to miss this trade either. Like, this is one I really don't want to miss. But the 200's also right here at 171. So it would need not only to break over VWAP and break this level of 172.82, but it also has room, once it does, to this gap fill here. So I'm not really sure which direction I want to take it. I do want to take a trade on it though. 5-minute MACD or 5-minute 200 is right here at 166. But it's not looking bad. It's not looking bad to the long side. It's not looking bad to the downside either. It's a rising wedge, but at the same time, it could be a symmetrical triangle here. So that's where I'm a little spooked right now. And we got a whole rising wedge here all the way up. So if we break this low, we got to see if we're gonna hold, which would be this green line. If it breaks through the green line, we need to make sure it's gonna hold below. And then if it does come down to its 200, is it gonna curl back up or what's it gonna do? I'm gonna definitely have this one on watch on the side here. This is where I'm getting nervous because now meta's starting to take off here. But the MACD on both the on all the time frames are taking off. Like the MACD is actually going. It's just the hourly and the bigger time frames are showing that it wants to drop. And that's what I'm nervous about. Let me go ahead and check on Meta again. We have STRO on watch. Actually, this one is making a move. That was a nice pull through VWAP there. Let's go to Meta. This is an important trade for me. Its daily is coming up to its 50, which usually it does respect this level constantly. Right now it's just choppy sideways. It's still within this triangle that I drew out here, so it's still within the triangle, and we still gotta wait for a, I guess, proper entry for it to make its decision as to which side it wants to go to. So in the meantime, I'll go ahead and look at STRO. STRO is one that we did have on watch. We also had KZR on watch. This one wasn't on my scans, but I did see someone else looking at it, and I decided to look at it as well. Stocks from yesterday were just absolutely terrible, though. Oh no, this one is on my scans. Never mind. STRO kind of choppy is what it's looking like. Not a big mover, so I'd have to take larger share size on it. But going back to what I was saying earlier, I did take larger share sizes starting out, I also traded stocks that were not out of my price range, but they had such a wide spread and they had basically no volume initially. So I broke so many rules yesterday and I learned immediately, like, that's not what I'm supposed to do. Okay, hold on. Facebook's actually breaking lower at this point. So I could get in for puts because now it's breaking its trend. But again, we got to make sure that it's going to hold this 169 level on the lows. So this looks really good for a puts play at the moment. But I think I only have one day trade today. So my question is, if it does break this low on this hourly, the MACD hasn't crossed yet, but if it does break its low on the hourly, will it come back up later and fill this gap? That's what I'm nervous about because I don't want to miss that gap fill. I think the gap fill is going to be a lot bigger of a move compared to the drop here, especially because these time frames, the smaller time frames, look like they wanted to actually curl through and do something here. So I could buy around the 167 level going long. The SPY also looked like it was going to go long today. STRO does not look bad here either. I'm going to wait for Facebook to shake itself out still. Could have taken that trade anywhere there. I could get on this next 1 minute for the 5-minute high break. Pattern I see. I don't quite see one just yet, but we do have a large green candle and a small red candle. I could buy a dip here. I'm going to take 1,000 at 32. So we'll get in at 32 and we'll look for the break of 40. I probably got in a little early. And I'm getting a call from a random number. Not down too much, down 70 bucks right now. 7 cents really. See if we can get the pop back up here. So right now what I'm seeing is a triangle formation as well, symmetrical triangle here. Damn. See if we can get the breakout here. Big sell at 40 there. For a second, there was a big sell at 40 there. So we got the break. I got the break of 40 now. 41 broke by 2 cents. I undersold that. Jesus, dude. I don't know who's calling me from New York. I don't know anybody over there. I hope it's not like my broker or anything. That massive rejection. Oh, I was about to say, too bad this isn't easy to borrow, but it actually is. So let's see what it wants to do this next 1 minute. 5 minutes not looking so good as it's finishing pretty low here. 1 minute MACD is starting to cross down. I could take an entry. We'll take a starter actually. If this can close below VWAP. Let me see. Did it break its high? 39.41. So it broke by a couple cents. We'll get in here at 26. We'll start at 26. Take a small starter there. And see if this wants to break lower through VWAP. There's 22. Target would be 510 really. It's having a hard time breaking lower here. We need to see it break it slow. It's 21 now. So looking for 510 really. 519. Next candle's about to open here. I'm in at 26, yeah. Okay. Shows that it hit 17, but I don't see it. It's also finishing kind of high here, which I also don't like. I'm gonna get rid of it. If it can dip here, I'm gonna get rid of it. There's a pop. So I'm not down anything significant just yet. It's probably just gonna try and scare me out here. Could add on it. Don't want to add on it just yet. To push higher, I could just get rid of it. But I want to see a rejection here. Could have added there, but I want to see a rejection. Its MACD is coming to a close here. Next 5 minute is going to open, so if this can finish low, that'd be perfect. I definitely want to see it closer to VWAP. I have my hand on the sell button here. 25, can we see 20? There it is, 23, 22. Well, now it's popping back up here. Let's see if that can come to a close. Facebook's still sideways. It's starting to pop up again here. So it's 23 now. Can we get another break below VWAP and see some more consolidation? Is this going to hold below VWAP? So time to readjust my thing here. Bro, I hate these charts. Oh my gosh. Jeez, I'm clicking on one thing and it's clicking on 20. All right, I'm probably gonna have to get rid of it here. If I'm being honest, we'll try to get rid of it at 27. See if I can get rid of it there. I'm gonna stop out at 31. We're gonna take that small loss. So it's what, about a 5-cent loss on 300 shares? It's not that bad. If there wasn't enough strength to the downside, I think eventually it's gonna start. If it can't hold this level here, it's gonna have to break to the downside. So that was a good symmetrical triangle. And now that I readjusted and see where it's at, I mean, now it looks pretty good to the high side. But if it can't hold these highs, and then this is a perfect short opportunity once more. Might just reject the view up on this candle if it seriously just can't do it, because it's basically a triple top right here. So I could re-enter for a short. You have high red volume. So instead of taking that loss, I could have just added into it, averaged in at the 40 level. I'm not gonna bother. KZR is also easy to borrow. I didn't see this one. But this one's already made about 3 pullbacks. So I don't know. I don't know how much I trust it. Facebook, now it's breaking higher. It's breaking above to 171. Do I want to take an entry on Meta right now? Let's see. So we actually have a bull flag here, maybe 2. So this is 1, 2. This is the third leg up. Just broke 171. Looks pretty strong on the rest of its charts. 5 and 10 minute broke through its MACD. 15 minute still breaking through. Got the 30 minute also doing the same. But the hourly is where I was nervous, but now the hourly looks really strong. So I'm gonna go ahead and take an entry here. I don't want to miss this opportunity to break through that whole gap and fill it. We're gonna go ahead and take an entry. So let me double check. Let me just triple check here. Make sure that I want to get in at this level. I need to, because we just hit the 200 on the 30. I don't want to make a mistake here. Last time we hit the 200, it rejected massively, as you see here. So I want to make sure I'm not making a mistake. MACD's curling. We got the hourly curling off the MACD as well. 15 minute wants to curl through. It just broke its high. Can it hold above these levels though? I could wait for a retest. It just broke through. Popping up once more. We got the 1 minute. 1 minute breaking higher here through its levels. Is this a trade I want to take right here at 171? It has to hold this 171 level right here. This is a crucial level. So let's go ahead and draw a horizontal line there. It has to hold this level here. So far so good. So far it's holding. But I don't want to see it pull all the way back because this could just be a readjustment of my triangle. Or it could just be a flop and just fail entirely. So far it's being a little choppy is what it looks like around 171. Daily high, actually, I did not see that. Let's check the daily high. Yesterday's daily high is what? High is 171.75. So we're right there on the daily high as well. MACD is starting to come to a close, starting to curl back down. So it's making me a little nervous. Getting a big rejection here on Meta. So maybe it needs a little more time. We'll give it a little more time while it pulls back here. That's quite a rejection. And the daily MACD is also curling. That's why I'm kind of like... Excuse me. That's why I'm not so sure. Let's check what the SPY's doing. SPY pulling back. Here's the thing though. SPY just broke its daily high. So SPY is looking solid. SPY doesn't look so bad. Let's check STRO. STRO, nice move. And I was considering getting in again here once I'd seen it held up VWAP. Too bad I didn't take this entry. But we can always get in later. I feel like focusing on the live account though on Facebook, since I have a day trade in there, I feel like that's the move to make. Because the other day, last week, like I said, I could have made about $2,000, and I hesitated so bad on it that I ended up not making anything. So that's something I really regret, because I wasn't sure about the strategy. I wasn't so confident in it. Right now it's just chopping, it's just sideways. It's kind of like what we saw Thursday and Wednesday last week. You know, it goes down to this level, goes high, goes down, goes high, and then eventually once we come around 10:30 or 11, I think even last Thursday it was around 12 or 1 p.m. Is when it actually finally broke out in a specific direction. So I'm gonna wait for that breakout. I need to wait for that breakout, so that way I want to wait for that specific move, that specific chart pattern that I can recognize, so I can get in for that gap fill here. Once we see that it can hold it up at its levels and break that gap fill, like, we should be solid to the long side. It's just right now the 30 hit its 200, so that's why I'm kind of not sure. The hourly still has a way to go, same with the daily, but the 30-minute did hit its 200. That's what makes me a little hesitant. So let me go swap back to the 30-minute. I'll keep this one on watch. Still hasn't made a lower low yet. I'm curious to see if it's going to double bottom here or what it wants to do at its lows. And then if it also finishes low, well, then that could also be pretty bad news. We could definitely see it break trend and break lower. So the gap fill might not even happen today. The thing that's concerning though is that the 200 on the daily, or on the hourly, I think, or 30-minute. No, actually, yeah. Let me double check. Jesus, 200 on, I think it's like the 15-minute. Yeah, the 200 on the 15-minute is at 166. That's what makes me a little hesitant. A little hesitant if we do pull back, because its 50s also at 168. 50's at 168, and it always respects the 50 on a specific time frame as well. I think it is the 30. The daily for sure, but 30 as well. So 30's at 168 flat, or the 50's at 168 flat. And we have a massive pop like this. That's impressive. Not sure why it's popping that way. Is this just a spook before we actually see it drop? That's the real question. popping up quite a bit there. Go back to STRO, see what this one's doing. Rejection. We're getting too much of a pullback at this point. 5 minute does not look good. And the 10 minute actually doesn't. Oh, that's the hourly. I was gonna say the 10 minute does not look so bad. But no, the 10 minute looks pretty bad now. We don't have much else on watch. HUSA is hitting the scans. I don't really care for a KZR. This one's kind of done. Oh, you know what? But STRO is able. It's easy to borrow, so we could definitely take some shorts here. It's a breakthrough VWAP. I could reattempt my short position. Five minutes coming to its low. So I could, if it pops up to 40 or pulls back anywhere in the 40s, at 50 for sure. I'd want to get in around this level here though. This level is going to be horizontal at around 42. If it pops up to 42 for whatever reason, I could definitely take an entry. I'll get in here at 36 actually, well 33. And if it pops, that's okay. I can definitely add into it because I do think that this is going to be a short play at this point, the way it's pulled back as much as it has. So there's 32. My target would first be the low here of 520. Well, really 530 is a big resistance level. So my first target would definitely be 530, even though I'm in at 33. And I could possibly add there, especially if we break that level. Then we could definitely see it to 520. Below 520 though, it'd be 510. And this is going to be one to hold. We have a huge seller here, so that's definitely helping me out at 35. So let's see if we get that break lower here. Break its 5 minute low. Looking for that 5 minute low break. There's 30, 26 now, 24, 20. Try and sell there at 21, get rid of it there. I was gonna say this can probably drop in the teens. There it is. So that was a successful trade there. Kind of undersold because I'm selling on the ask or the bid, which is technically like reverse. Damn. And now I kind of regret selling because look at that, all the way to 510. 520 was our first resistance spot, and then 510 was our next. I reached my first target. If I added into my position like I should have, then we could have, sold half at 520, sold the rest at 510 area, but oh well. That was a successful trade regardless. I love trading short when I see an obvious one, and that was definitely obvious to me. So thankfully, that's why I was saying if it pops here to 540, which it didn't, but if it did, I was going to add into it, average into the trade. Now, if it just broke above its 545 level or anywhere here and started curling back up to 50, then I wouldn't even bother. But if anything, if it didn't break 560 and double top there, I could definitely take an entry on that double top and then bet it's going to go down again. But that's kind of crazy. It did reach 510 to the penny here. Let's see. Meta. Oh my gosh. So, didn't break its low. We are seeing a triangle formation here as well. So if I do grab this, that there. It's not making a lower low just yet. We got another trend line here. Let's get this going. We are forming a triangle formation on the 1 minute. I'm just not so sure how confident I feel. The MACD's coming to a close here on the 1 minute. Are we gonna reject and then pop back up? That's what I'm not sure about. Because I could just get in for a short position, since I do think it's gonna break lower here. For whatever reason, I feel like it's gonna break lower, possibly touch VWAP or break below VWAP or something, and then pop all the way back up. I would have to break this low of 170 and continue all the way down below 168. So at this point, I'm feeling it's a pretty strong stock because it hasn't broken lower yet. So I'm kind of feeling this has room to go. There's 171 again, once more. So at this point, I'm considering, should I buy calls? Let me double check on all my time frames once more, just to verify this is what I want to do. It's back above its highs here. So it's back holding these levels, reclaiming this level that I needed to hold, which is good. So there's a 3 minute, there's a 1 minute. It's breaking above its triangle here, so it's looking pretty solid to the high side at this point. The hourly MACD is coming really close to a close here, and that's what spooks me a little bit, but it's starting to curl, it's starting to ramp up there. 30 minutes, looking pretty strong. It's coming to its 200, which also makes me nervous. We got about 5 more minutes on this 30-minute candle, and it's finishing pretty strong. But if this can't break through its 200 of 170, 171.50, I mean, we're in for some trouble. So basically double top there on its 1 minute. Now it's back down at 170.66. At least on trader view or trading view. 50-minute doesn't look the most confident either. So should I let this shake out some more? 5-minute here is forming a symmetrical triangle as well. Should I let this form some more? Because it looks like it wants to break lower at this point. It's coming up to its 50 at 169 again. So I'm contemplating. Should I take this trade or not? I'm trying to figure out which direction it wants to go. Should I swap to the long side or the short side? Here it is back down to 170. 170.70. Oops. We'll keep it on watch. We'll just keep it on watch. Breaking lower here on the 1 minute, as you see here. I don't want to miss this trade. If it's to the long side, I definitely don't want to miss this trade. It's to the short side, whatever. Like, I'll just wait for the long side setup if there is one. 1 minute MACD just crossed there on the 1 minute. It's coming back down on the 5 minute, so it's looking pretty weak. But again, we're flip-flopping here, going between the two ranges. Practically a double top here as well, so that's why I'm kind of also not sure. It looks like a perfect double top setup at this point. There's 1, 2, and now we're breaking lower. If it can break this neckline here of 170, I guess 20, right? If it can hold these levels down below VWAP and continue back down, we can most likely see a retest of this low here and then a continuation below those lows. For some reason, I don't feel like it's gonna break these lows. I feel like once it breaks this one, like, yeah, we might see some moves lower, but I think it's just gonna continue sideways for the most part today. Because it hasn't made a decision as to which side it wants to go yet. Because it could just double bottom here, and then we just form a channel. Then if we just double bottom and form a channel, then it's gonna be something else. I'm gonna have to figure out, we're gonna have to wait for it to pick a direction where it's gonna break out for the most part. So I don't want to take that just yet. So we'll keep it on watch. I'll have it here on watch. 5 minutes finishing pretty low, looking kind of weak. No problem. We're coming up to its 50 EMA or 50 SMA on the 5 minute at 169.70. So as you see here, it's like recovering kinda. Pulls back then recovers. The only thing is this next 5 minutes gonna open, and it's opening pretty low at this point. So unless that 5 minute can finish pretty high around like 170.80, then I mean it's looking okay for a long side because it's showed that it can hold it twice now if it does. But right now it's kind of looking weak, especially that 10 minute. That 10 minute's not looking any fun. SWIR. This one's taking off. Light on volume. I'm not going to trade it. Respect my rules. CGNT. Float is really high on this one. About 65 million shares being traded on this one. Actually, did I just say that wrong? No. I might have. Whatever. Correct me in the comments if I did. STRO. Let's go back to this one. Breaking lower. So we reached our first target. We got a triangle formation here, a descending triangle, correct? So let me double check. Descending triangle, correct. So we have a descending triangle there, and then a break lower. We're getting a second one here, but it's more of a symmetrical. Let's see if we can get this to the high side at this point. It is currently on the 1 minute MACD, but it is still going to cross on the 5 minutes. So I'm still not 100%. I'm not even going to trade this one if I'm being real. If anything, it's going to be a short play, but it's going to be a long short play. I'm going to hold this one for days. Again, I'm just joking. It's a it's a sim account, so I'm not actually going to hold it for days. That'd be ridiculous. Besides that, there's nothing else on watch. We can go over what I traded yesterday. BHAT, I think this was one. AERC, this was definitely one that I traded yesterday. I was basically trying to go for its daily high break. I was in at like 13 bucks or something. I don't know. I was in pretty early on it. Every single trade I took just flopped. It only flopped because I tried to average into it. Okay, first I broke 3 rolls, right? Trading stocks with a bigger spread than 5 cents. That's like one of my big ones. So, I mean, sometimes I make exceptions if I already know, like if I'm very confident in the pattern or whatever. I didn't have a pattern. I didn't have a strategy to it. I just took an entry where I felt like it could do something. So I took an entry, and I took really good entries if I'm being honest. For some reason, instead of selling, which I definitely could have, and I definitely thought of selling multiple times, instead of doing so, I figured, you know what? The light volume on this stock has a lot of potential to go to the high side. So I said, you know what? I'm going to add into it. That's exactly what I did. I added into the stock pretty high on both the same 1 minute candle multiple times. I added into it, and then it just tanks, and I have to sell for a massive loss. So, you know, I sold below both my entries and caused a massive loss there. Just on my first trade, it was already a 60-cent loss with 1,000 shares basically averaged in. It was a huge loss, and I was already like, dude, what did I do? So there I go, revenge trading. Eventually, I get somewhat profitable. I'm trying to practice more with averaging in. It's somewhat profitable on it, on like one trade, and then every single trade after that is just loser, 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 loser. And it racked up to about an $812 loss. Good thing it's a sim and not a live account, but regardless, I mean, those mistakes shouldn't be happening anyways. For some reason, I just decided I'm gonna average into it, and that's what I did. And the spreads were insane. So, not out of my price range necessarily, but the spreads were just crazy. I had no strategy, no pattern, and it was extremely light on volume. So those are like the 3 major things that, like, recipes for destruction right there. I had really good entries. Don't get me wrong. I had really good entries, and they were each both like 30 cents a piece on 500 shares. If I didn't add into them, I could have sold for I had 500 shares, and if I sold on each one, it's about 30 cents each trade that I took. And they were good trades. And if I just sold it, I would have definitely racked up over $500 that day on just those positions. But instead, like I said, I decided to add into my positions for whatever reason. I felt like it's something I should try. But, you know, looking back at what's working, I noticed my green days, the strategies that I have that are working are patterns that I'm recognizing, or, you know, actually taking my time to look at the stock and save myself from a loss. So taking my time to analyze the stock and everything, having an actual strategy, an actual plan for what I'm about to do, you know, that to me is what's actually making me profitable. And, you know, yesterday and the days before, it was just kind of like, oh, I'm going off of candle formations or like candlestick patterns that I might recognize or that I think it's gonna do. So it's kind of just like I'm basically gambling because I'm kind of guessing that it's gonna go a certain way, and it's, you know, it actually flops on me. So I don't know. The days in which I am profitable, like today, I didn't have a specific strategy on STRO, but I was looking at, you know, its candle formation here. My first trade on STRO, on this one, I was really going for the 5 minute high break on this side. So once we double top there, I just decided to sell it. Once I'd seen that there was resistance at 40 here, I just decided to sell it. And it ended up breaking it by like 1 cent, which I mean, I guess, and then a massive rejection. So I saved myself there. Again, I had mentioned, I said, I don't see a pattern in specific, but I want to go for that 5-minute high break. And you know how those usually go for me. So although I was profitable on this one, it wasn't that, significant of a profitable trade. I tried taking a short here. I was in the green for a little bit. But then I ended up having to sell for a loss. The pullback ended up pulling back way too much. And then I was out for this climb here because I was focused on meta. However, when I came back down here and I noticed that it rejected this level, I felt like, we do have support here, or resistance up here, because it couldn't hold support. So once it rejected to VWAP, I was like, well, we're gonna have to see a pullback here, and if it can pull back to 545 and reject off that 545 level, then we could see a push all the way down to 520 and then 510. But below 510, I mean, it was kind of a stretch for me, and now it's below 510, right? But it was kind of a stretch for me in one single candle. I was like, nah, no way. And it ended up breaking below 510. I think, oh no, it hit 510 flat. So it hit my target flat. But I sold at 520 here, 521, because that was my first target, was 520. And then after that, 510. I didn't think this had the actual strength, though, to push through to 510. I'd seen that drop to 520 and I was like, oh, that's as volatile as it's probably going to get. And that's where I sold. I kind of regret taking such a small share size on it because I was pretty confident. I was just hoping, I took small share size because I was hoping that it would pull back to 545 and I'll add up here for a continuation down below VWAP. So I did have a strategy on this one, and this one was definitely a lot more profitable than my last one. Regardless, they were still both profitable. My first one was just about 6 cents minus 3 commission. Really, it's about like 30 bucks that I made. And then this one obviously was a bigger trade, so 33 to 21. That was a pretty good size trade there as well, 12 cents. So if I took a large share size position, let's say 1,000 shares right here, that's 120 bucks. Well, minus 3, so about 90 bucks. Plus the 30 over here, that's basically back to 12, so 120 bucks for the day on 1,000 shares. That's not that bad. Now we have Meta finally breaking lower here, so it's finally choosing a direction. Problem is, I'm not entirely sure if it's gonna double bottom here and then just pop all the way back up, or if it's gonna continue to the downside. It's gonna break its daily low if it hasn't already. Daily low here is 168.01. So Facebook finally breaking lower here. Let's check its hourly, because I know the hourly earlier was gonna cross on the MACD, which it is about to right now. We could wait for a pop. So here's a double bottom here. Go ahead and add this indicator. That's a pretty significant pullback for Facebook here. But if it can pop back up, I mean, we just double bottomed. And if it pops all the way back up, I'm curious to see now what direction it's going to go to. Like, because we could just see a pullback and then it just sideways consolidates and then we see a further dip. But this could also just continue trading in this range, setting up for tomorrow through its 50 EMA. Let's go ahead and double check what SPY's doing here. SPY's pulling back quite a bit as well. So SPY's taking a dive. 10-minute MACD still needs to cross on the SPY. Meta, let's go back to this one. So all the MACDs are crossed to the downside at this point. Only one that I'm not so sure about is, well, I guess I'm lying. I just really don't want to miss that gap fill, if I'm being honest. Should I wait for a pullback towards VWAP again, towards 169? That's what I'm curious about. Because I could wait for a pullback towards 169, but this could just keep dropping here the way this 1 minute's finishing pretty low. I don't want to get some FOMO here and realize I missed an entire move down from 170 to 168. It's really only $1 that I'm out on, so 170 to 169 is where we're at practically. I'm not missing out on a whole lot. but I definitely don't want to miss the big move here, because then if we do have that, if it does finish low here, we have a lot of room back down to 165 as well. We actually have a lot of room. So double bottom there. Now as we're seeing a pop back up here. This is where I'm kind of not sure what's going on. I still need to wait for a proper formation here on some time frame. It basically double topped here, rejected, now it double bottomed here, and now it's pulling back. But again, is it gonna pull back to 170? Could I take a puts play and then just break lower here? Is it gonna pull back to 169 and then I can get in there? Next hourly opens in 20 minutes. So let's see if it's gonna retest its lows here. Are we gonna break its lows? 30-minute. We still have about another 20 minutes for this next 30-minute candle opens. 15 minutes. Check it out. 15 minutes looking weak. 15 minute is coming up to its 50 EMA though, which is at 168 flat. That's a big support line because it always bounces off its 50. But if it can't bounce off its 50 this time, then I mean, we're kind of screwed. This will be to the downside. And then we have its 200 right there at 166. We check the 5-minute. 5 minutes still has room on its 200. 200 is at 167. We check the 1 minute. The 1 minute is now below its 200. You see it's having a hard time here. I don't even know what formation this would be on the, it looks like a broadening wedge or something, like this thing's widening it up. But if you look at the 1 minute here, or the 3-minute I mean, 3-minute doesn't look too bad. You know, it's holding these levels. Now it's holding below. It would have to hold below 169, which so far is doing pretty good. And then we could see a continuation to the downside. But if it can't hold below 169, I mean, we still have to figure out what this is going to do. I might have to close it up for today, rack up my profits or losses, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure I'm green. And see what meta's going to do later on in the day, because right now it's just sideways, just trading within this 171 169 range. So we still have a lot of time for this one to make a decision, but like I said, I don't want to miss this opportunity. I've been waiting, been planning like for such a long time, since last week on this, and I missed my huge move here. I could have taken this trade, as you all know, and I decided not to. So I missed a huge opportunity here. What a trade I definitely regret at this point. That was such a massive move, and I said, nah, I'm gonna wait because I got nervous about the other days. And that's what I don't want to do. I don't want to get nervous, and that's why I'm studying these patterns and reading these charts, analyzing all this stuff, because I don't want to feel hesitant how I did before. That's the last thing. I think the more I study these patterns, the more I study or recognize these things, the quicker of an analysis I'll have and the more confidence I'll have in my trades. And that's kind of what I'm going for. So let's go back to STRO. This one's popping up here a little bit. I'm not going to trade it. I'm done for today. SWIR. So looking at what's available, looking at what's going. APRN, ARC. This one's going higher. We could definitely break its high here on its daily. That's what my target would have been on this one. Could have bought at 15 there when it was finally curling. It looked like a double bottom kind of. So there's the daily high break, is what it looks like. Here at 1650. If we can get that break of 1650, we should be solid. So meta actually breaking lower here. There's our pullback. Should I get in? Not quite, because the 1 minute MACD is right there. They can still pop to 169.60. I could get in for puts there and bet that this is going to go to the downside. But I have 1 day trade. 1 day trade. And this is where I'm a little nervous, because on this account it is following the PDT rule. That's why I'm a little nervous. But I'm going to go ahead and keep watching Facebook here. I might be late to work, but let's go ahead and see where we're at. Finished at $50. So $50 compared to our $200 or $800 loser yesterday. I don't want to count the $800 loser, because at one point I was just like, I even said in the video, even though you can't hear it, I even said, like, at this point, I'm just trading to trade because I just want to see what works. So a lot of the losses I racked up, it was actually like a $500 loser. But a lot of the extra losses that I had in there were just because I wanted to see, what is it going to do if I do this? If I took an entry here, would I be right? And I decided to take it. Um, so that's where all my losses, I'm still going to count it because it is a loss regardless, but I didn't really want to count it uh because like I said, I wouldn't do that in my live account. I wouldn't just start throwing like that. It's ridiculous. But again, it's still a massive loss that wasn't necessary to have. So again, up $49. Finally, another green day, which is great. If you want to count yesterday, then I'm down bad. But today we're starting out again, green day, and we analyzed the stocks. We looked into everything properly, I'd say. Ooh, actually, I kind of want to get in at this point. I think it will. I'll get in for puts at this point. I'm feeling fairly confident this is going to be to the downside on the stock now. After that low 1 minute open there. But the 3 minute high is going to break. It bounced off its 200 on the 3 minute. That's where I'm kind of like, what I want to do. It also couldn't hold below on the double bottom. Man, what does it want to do? I'm so confused. Like I said, it's still holding in this range. There's a lot more people betting on the long side than there is the put side. There's a lot of people actually. I don't want to convince myself in the wrong direction here though. It is pulling back here. I don't want to miss a pullback opportunity to enter on a position. It did break its low. So we did get that MACD cross on the 1 minute. 5 minutes finishing low, 15 minutes also finishing low. There's a massive rejection there, all the way back down. Did I miss my entry opportunity to the short side? If I zoom out, it broke trend. So I could enter here at 169. For puts. Five minutes still has some time. It still has 3 more minutes on this next 5 minute. There, it finished low. So I'm gonna take an entry for puts here. So just got filled there at 169 for puts. And I'm going to try and get this 168 level to break on its both 5 and 15 minute lows here. So if we can get that 168 level to break, we should be solid. This is a fairly large position that I'm taking, so I need this to show some strength to the downside here. We need to see this break. After a massive rejection like that, it makes me a little nervous holding at this level because it was a pretty big rejection, and now we could definitely see a pop. But I don't want to get spooked out just yet. I want to see and verify this is going to hold to the downside. Its 15 minute also looks kind of weak. MACD on the 15 minute still pretty low. We still have some time. Now it's just sideways consolidating in this little range. But if it starts to pop here, I gotta sell for a loss, and that's gonna be my day trade. I decided to choose a direction. I'm choosing to the downside. So now we're seeing a pullback here on the 5 minute. And hopefully if this next 5 minute opens, I want to see it break its low. 15 minutes also pretty low here as well. So I think this can definitely keep going to the downside, but we need to show some strength to break. It's not only 30 minute low, but it needs to break this double bottom here. The way that it pulled back in this direction, broke trend, it showed me it's pretty weak. So we'd seen a trend showing here. There's a break again, 168.80. Now it's looking pretty solid. Can we break this level here, 168.50? That's going to be a crucial level for us to break. Once we break that low, then I think we should be pretty clean to the downside. Now, target. This is what I don't know. It has a lot of room to the downside at this point. We have a lot of room, but you know, 50 EMAs right here. So it could just pop and then I'm screwed. Gotta find a profit target. Profit target. People say it should be as wide as this triangle. I don't think it's gonna go as wide as this triangle if I'm being real. There's a pop all the way back up to 169 here. I'm getting a little spooked. I don't want to sell. I don't want to sell just yet because you know it could keep going lower. I don't want it to pop up and then I'm screwed. As long as we can hold below 169, we should be okay. It's 168.81 again. But a profit target, our first resistance level is here at 168.70, which is why we're popping the way we are here, because this is our first resistance level. I will even say it's 168. Well, yeah, 168.70. As long as we can break below 168.70, our next target would be 167.33. And then from 167.33, we have till 166.50. And then this is where 166 flat, that's where our 50 EMA is on the 30 minute. Now, if we check out the hourly, we have room up to 168.45 and it needs to break 168.45. Once we break 168.45, we can definitely see it all the way down to 167.45 and then all the way down to 166.55. But the 50 EMA is right here at 166. So 166 would be my true target on this one, I'd say. 166 because that's where all the support seems to be. The hourly MACD is looking like it's wanting to cross. So if I'm gonna be holding this one, that would be my target. It's 166, which isn't too far away. I don't want to get spooked though. I really don't want to get spooked out on this one. So I'm gonna continue holding and see if we break this low here. We need to break this double bottom. We need to break through 168.50, which there's a break, and we need to show that we can hold below 168.50. 30-minute low here just broke, so we are seeing a lot more strength to the downside. It's looking pretty solid, I'd say. So far, I'm up a pretty good amount. I'm happy with the trade where I got in. I got in here at 169 on this pullback. Waited for that confirmation. So far, everything's looking solid. I'm up about $100 right now in the account, so it's basically a large position for me in the account. I want to get rid of it so bad right here because it just hit that 168 level. And I'm green. I could just take it. I'm green. I could just take it. But the way that it finished low here, I feel like it's finally choosing a direction. And it might pull back on me, but it could keep going. Like I said, my target would then be, see, it double bottom here on the daily. We need to see that break on the daily. That's why I kind of like, I should probably sell. But just knowing how weak it is, how it's coming back down here, now our new resistance level is 168.50. So we got to see if this is going to sideways consolidate here, if kind of flag. We can possibly flag. The farthest I'll get this flag up to is going to be 168.80. That's the farthest I'll get this, let this thing ride. Otherwise, I'm going to stop out. I'm just going to take my profit and go. But we do need to see this thing continue to the downside. We need to see that daily low to break because that's going to be a massive level if it can break. It's going to be a big one for us. So let's see if we can do it. 1 minute MACD is curling here. So we are going to get a small pullback is what it's looking like, but that's okay. As long as it doesn't finish super high and super green, you know, it's whatever. Next 30 minutes going to open in 8 minutes. So I'm going to hold this one. I'm going to go drive to work and I want to see that this one's going to continue breaking. It's going to be a risk, you know, holding it till I'm at work, but I'm going to risk it. Because I still think that the hourly has time to cross. And the next hourly, dang, there's a push through. Look at that massive rejection there. Should I wait around till we hit 166? That was a massive break. Oh, no, my charts aren't loading. There it is. I'm up 100. I feel I should just take it because I'm already up. And now we're popping all the way back up here. I should have sold in that dip there. There's a lot of green coming through. Should I go for my profit target of 166? I don't like the way that it's popping here. I kind of want to get rid of it. I was up 100, now I'm down. Well, not down, but I did not expect that massive rejection there the way it did. And that's kind of why I just want to get rid of it. We got 5 minutes for this next 30 minutes, so we could just hold it. And again, my profit target would then be 166. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait for this to pull back. I'm going to let it pull back, do what it needs to do. And then I'm going to continue I'm going to continue holding. It already broke its daily low, and that's what makes me nervous. But I'm going to continue holding for my actual profit target of 166. I might regret not selling here at 168, 167 for that break. I honestly, I'm kind of regretting not selling it at this point because now I'm going from up 150 to only up 50 bucks at the moment. And I don't want to risk driving to work and then see this turn on me because the next 5 minutes finishing pretty high here. 1 minute MACD is also crossing here, but I'm faithful in the hourly setup. Hourly setup shows it still has strength to the downside here, but I really don't want to turn red on this trade because I was green a pretty good amount, and now I'm kind of just barely up at this point. 30 minutes also popping up more than I would like it to. It's finishing pretty strong here. I said if it comes up to 169, I'm kind of done. 1 minute MACD's crossing here. Now I'm only up 20 bucks. I don't want to see this thing continue breaking higher. I want to see it reject. Sideways consolidate at least. It could go up to 169.50 and then I'd be red on the trade for sure. A break of 169, I'm already red. But if it goes to 169.50, comes up to VWAP and then rejects again, I mean, that's going to be something. But next 1 minute just open. This MACD is starting to cross again. We got 4 minutes for the next 30-minute candle and hourly candle to open. Should I continue holding or just sell with the small profit I have at the moment? We need to see some more strength to the downside and break through that 168 level. It's hitting my resistance line here almost to the penny, but 1 minute MACD still hasn't crossed entirely yet, so it's getting me a little nervous here because if it shows some strength to the high side, we're kind of done. And then I would have to stop out here. It already broke its daily low. I was hoping that it would kind of consolidate here, and then we see the daily low break, because now that it broke the daily low, this could just reverse on us and go all the way up. Because now it's showing a little strength now that it's not wanting to pull back as much this time around. But it could be some slow sideways consolidation. That's what I'm also not sure about. Next 30 minutes about to open here. I would love to see this candle just reject, like immediately. If we can see this reject and break this 1 minute low of 168.43, then we look pretty solid. Right now it's popping above. I definitely don't want to see a massive rip all the way back up to 169.60 or something like that. So if we start ripping that high, then I mean I gotta stop. I'm not gonna let this ride and turn into a massive loss on me. Because here we are coming up to 169. But like I said, I want to see this reject. There's 168. Back up to 169 now. Now I'm turning red on my trade. Can we get back in the 60s? I'm curious. If we can break this 1 minute low and reject down below 168.50, that'd be huge to the downside. There's 168.60. Can we get 50? Need more red here. If it just continues holding this level, I'm probably just gonna sell because it's showing strength now that it's still holding. So right here, it's still showing some strength that it's holding. And the next 5 minutes gonna open here. It's gonna open pretty strong too. So I guess that was the time to sell this candle right here. I think I'm gonna have to stop out and take small profit that I have. Because at this point it needs to break 168.40. It needs to break this level and hold below this level, or else it's not gonna do anything. Like it really needs to break this level here. Or else it's gonna keep climbing. 62. I mean, it broke by 3 cents. Next 30 minutes gonna open here. But I was honestly looking for a bigger drop than what it is doing right now. But it doesn't seem like we're gonna get that. That 5 minute finishing as high as it is, this is looking pretty strong. I'm gonna close my position here. Give it a little more time, see if it can break lower here. Or I just decide to sell it. $61. There's 50 now. Can we see the break? Needs to break that 168.40 level. 58 again. Can we see this break? It's having a hard time here. I'm gonna get rid of it. So just sold it right there. I definitely undersold because the stupid thing. Oh, this is what pisses me off about this stupid app. Is it sells me at I put, like, let's just say I'm selling at 50 bucks profit. Oh, look at that. Now it's coming back down. There's a break of 50. Ah, man, that pissed me off. And now the 5 minute low is gonna break. Here's what it looks like. Damn. That would have been nice to sell right there. That would have been 50 bucks. Either way, well, let's see if it can continue to the downside. I need to get ready for work. So I gotta leave in like 10 minutes, really. But either way, profitable. I made $33 on it. Not a terrible position. Like I said, I regret not selling down here when I should have, because that was just an unexpected push through 167 or 168. And because we had that unexpected push there, I was like, ooh, I should probably get rid of it because that's probably going to be the bottom, at least for now. And sure thing, it popped all the way back up, and here I am underselling myself 33 bucks. And now look at it, it's coming all the way back down to 168. And now I really, really regret selling because I literally just sold as I saw that it was holding this level here on this 1 minute. It was still holding the support line, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take it while I'm green, because if this pops back up on the 5 minute, we can definitely see this go back to 169.50, and I'm for sure gonna be red. So I got scared there. I held that entire ride, and I got scared on this candle here. So I didn't know which direction I wanted to go for sure, just because this little magic move here spooked me, and I didn't have much confidence in it continuing to the downside. I think it's just gonna double bottom. But even then, I really didn't think it was gonna double bottom. I thought it was starting to shift momentum here and curl back up to the high side. But now it's all the way back down, and man, I just totally regret selling. I literally sold just a couple seconds before we seen this drop. Now I'm watching it go without me. What's gonna really upset me is if it breaks its low and then continues to 166. That's just gonna bother me so much because I already know. So not quite the double bottom, but it is starting to form a little wedge here. I'm pretty sure it's going to start forming a wedge in this direction. Maybe we see a pop back up. But if we see a pop back up, I hope that today's not the day it's going to break out and fill that gap to the long side. So I just took my last day trade. So I'm hoping that's not what it's going to do. Regardless, I wish I would have sold here. That would have been an awesome trade to have sold right here on, because I was up at least like 100, I don't even know, like 150 or something. Could have sold here, but whatever. I decided to give it the benefit of the doubt, let it pull back on me, and now I regret not. Now I regret underselling. I sold it basically the low of this candle here. I thought it was gonna pop back up because it was just kind of hovering in this range, holding this support line that I had, and I really didn't want to see this next 1 minute open and turn green on me. But literally towards the last couple seconds of this candle, it started rejecting and then rejecting and then rejecting, and now it's popping all the way back up. So not a double bottom, but it's kind of forming that thing. It's kind of forming a wedge here if you look at it carefully, I think. So we're kind of having this formation at this point. And then there's a small incline here on this side. So we're forming like a broader wedge, I guess, larger triangle or a symmetrical triangle. It's just kind of in this range here. But the more it keeps holding, the worse it's gonna be, I think. The worse it would have been if I held my position. So the way that's just holding in a small little range, I don't know. It's making me nervous. So, oh well, we finished up. I'll just say that we finished up $49.62, and that's gonna be it. We actually in the live account we finished up 33 bucks on a small day trade, so not a massive position or anything. Not a I like to think it was a big position, but it wasn't a big one at all. But it sucks because I invested 500 on the last week play down here at 160. I was considering getting in. If I would have taken that, it could have been a $2,000 trade easily. But I decided not to do it, and it hit my targets exactly. So that's what the target would have been today. Let's see. We'll see tomorrow if it goes to 166, or later this afternoon. We'll see if it actually finishes around 166. In actuality, right now it's at 169. So I don't know. I'm not sure what's wrong with the charts. Oh, that was weird. Right now it's at 169, so I would have been red on this trade already. If it started turning here on me. So now it's breaking out towards the high side. I broke that little triangle formation I drew out, and now it's breaking to the high side. Unless we can just readjust the triangle. Maybe we just got to readjust it here. And it could still be forming, but I think honestly I think it broke because it peaked right here. So I think it broke its trend. Now we just gotta see if it's gonna hold. Either way though, I'm gonna wrap it up. That's gonna be it for me today. We're still green on all accounts regardless. I mean, small profit anyways. But I really don't want to miss this gap fill. That's gonna be a big one. Because right now it's just an island, really. So I think this gap fill is gonna be a huge move, and I think it's gonna end quick though. So, whatever. I'll see you guys, tomorrow.